Are you from a big family? This video is for you. If you have a big family, perhaps these TV shows you can relate to. Recently, there was an article that listed the 10 best sitcoms out there based on large families. And so I wanted to go through that list and share that. And I will tell you if there was any on this list that I loved, didn't care for, or perhaps never even seen. So let's go through the list. So the title of this was the 10 best comedy shows about big families. And it starts off with saying, nothing brings people together like family does. From daily squabbles to yearly celebrations, family life brings endless adventures. Television producers and creators know this well, which is why some of the most beloved comedies throughout the history have centered around portrayals of big, vibrant, chaotic families. Navigating a variety of genres and varying levels of dysfunction and grit, TV shows have found success by exploring the inherent comedy that lies in the highs and lows of being part of a huge clan. Some opt for a traditional multi-camera sitcom format, others adopt a single-camera mockumentary style to poke fun at the subtle humor that lies below the surface. No matter the framework, the foundation at the heart of these beautiful shows is the family unit. Or to be more specific, families large enough to fashion humorous mix-ups and misunderstandings without much effort. This list highlights some of the gold standard shows that have mastered the details of life in big, busy families. The first on the list is Family Matters, which ran from 1989 to 1998. Really? That long? I knew it was on for a while, but I didn't realize it lasted that long. Ever since it debuted in 1989, this ABC-CBS sitcom has familiarized a wide audience with Chicago police officer Carl Winslow, his wife Harriet, and their three kids, teenagers Eddie and Laura, and their youngest daughter Judy. They had a bunch of pesky next-door neighbors, which included Steve Urkel, a lovable geek played by Jaleel White, who went on to become the show's fan favorite character, and his uncle and aunt. What makes it so great? Week after week, this show dealt with issues around suburban culture and spun hilarious antics thanks to the goofy characters. While not the biggest family by member count, Family Matters made the most of its ensemble by developing each person's storyline beautifully. Be it parents, neighbors, or children, everyone seems to be just as funny as they navigated the pains and pleasures of life. The true magic of the show, however, was Steve Urkel. He was painfully sweet in his pursuit of Winslow's oldest daughter, Laurel. Now, they did omit someone on the show, and that was Winslow's mother, the grandmother of the show. Next up is Malcolm in the Middle, which ran from 2000 to 2006. Being a middle child is no easy feat, and if you're one of the 5 siblings, all brothers, it is even worse. Settling into a new home is the hapless patriarch Hal, who works a dead-end job to support his wife Lois and their sons, Francis, Reese, Malcolm, Dewey, and Jamie. Season after season, we see the boys grow from young children to teenagers, and their antics continue to keep viewers in stitches. Whether they are trying to avoid chores or playing pranks on one another, the result is simply hilarious. What makes it so great? There are only a handful of shows that capture the chaotic energy of a huge family so authentically. Malcolm in the Middle uses a biting humor and unusual filming style to pull its punches. Besides, the show's main characters are the 5 sons, who are equal parts brothers and rivals. Featuring top-notch physical comedy from the entire cast, the show acts as a celebration of the beauty found in everyday life when you're a part of a big family. Next on the list is The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air from 1990 to 1996. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is an iconic 90s sitcom that centers around Will Smith's inner-city teenage Philadelphia basketball star who gets into trouble on the street and is sent to Bel-Air, California to live with his wealthy aunt and uncle. Vivian and Philip Banks already have their hands full with their 3 children. We delight as Will tries to adjust to the high society life in Bel-Air and deal with the culturally differences it brings. What makes it so great? The dynamic between Will and the upper class Banks clan is what provides endless laughs and some memorable life lessons. Will stays unwaveringly honest to his streetwise ways, and that's what shakes up one of his cousins and even brings out the funnier side of his aunt and uncle. The show blends hip-hop references, emotionally resonant moments, and laughable comedy to cement itself as a classic. Next on the list is Full House, which ran from 1987 to 1995. Created for ABC by Jeff Franklin, Full House is a darling sitcom set in San Francisco. Danny Tanner is a widowed father who is finding it quite difficult to raise his 3 daughters, DJ, Stephanie, and Michelle, after the death of his wife. So he enlists the help of his brother-in-law, Jesse Kasopoulos, and his best friend, Joey Glade. Together, the 5 live under one roof and deal with the daily adventures and mishaps in a wholesome way. What makes it so great? The best thing about Full House is the way it utilizes its ensemble cast. Each of the characters have a distinct personality, and creator Jeff Franklin uses it to paint a portrait of a modern chosen family. Whether the girls are being immature or sassy, they bring out Danny's softer side. Above everything, the show is a multi-generational comedy, and it is only when there is mutual care, support, and shared joy that a household like theirs can truly thrive. Next on the list is The Goldbergs, which runs from 2013 to present. Really, The Goldbergs is still on? I didn't realize it's still going. Series creator Adam F. Goldberg fashions this ABC drama as a soft biographical retelling based on his own family. The show is set in the 1980s, and it chronicles the youngest child, Adam Goldberg's teenage years living with the overbearing, Spielberg-loving mother, Jack Dad, hot-headed siblings, and a savage grandfather. With 10 seasons and over 229 episodes, The Goldbergs has had every possible experience in suburban Philadelphia. What makes it so great? The Goldbergs first aired in 2013, but it features the 80s, which means nostalgia plays a big role in making the show likable. However, the show's real charm comes from its heart. Knowing each member of the family is based on a real-life person makes their quirks and idiosyncrasies feel surprisingly authentic. There are subtle period details and notes of dysfunction, but their unconditional support for one another makes Goldberg's a rare recent show that improves after every rewatch. Boy Meets World, 1993 to 2000. A classic in the coming-of-age genre, this ABC sitcom follows Corey Matthews and his friends and family living in Philadelphia. Okay, a lot of these shows are based out of Philadelphia. Is there really a significant thing about that? I don't know. That's just, I don't know. Is this writer from Philadelphia or something? In a classic in the coming-of-age genre, this ABC follows Corey Matthews and his friends and family living in Philadelphia from middle school through college. Each episode finds forlorn Corey understanding adolescence with the help of his history teacher, Mr. Freeney, protective friends and family, and childhood sweetheart Topanga. What makes it so great? Though smaller than other families, Boy Meets World makes the most of its premise by focusing more on character development. The writing is already superb, and every character's transition to adulthood is as relatable as it is strong. Topanga brings out a better version of Corey, and Mr. Feeney remains a stable voice of reason, making the two as much a part of his family as his own. While making the audiences laugh, The show also instilled necessary life lessons about growing up. Next up is Arrested Development from 2003-2019. Following the downfall of a family patriarch and a real estate developer, George Bluth, Arrested Development showcases the Bluth family's many misadventures because they're now clueless as to how things work. Michael Bluth is the only sane member in a family full of egocentric and self-absorbed people. As they live under one roof in Newport Beach, we get to witness a unique brand of big family chaos in modern television. What makes it so great? Arrested Development broke conventions by layering gags and complicated plot lines into a dense and satisfying experience. The show isn't directly funny, but instead creator Michael Hurwitz uses the subtle physical comedy elements and verbal callbacks that ring true with a certain kind of audience. Moreover, the biting social commentary and compelling plot establishes the show as influential in the modern world of television. This is one of the shows of all these shows listed so far, I have not seen a single episode of Arrested Development, so I don't know if I should watch that or not. It's currently on Netflix. Maybe I should check it out. Everybody Loves Raymond from 1996 to 2005. Taking you to the beautiful Long Island, Everybody Loves Raymond tells the story of Raymond Barone, an Italian-American sports writer for New Day. While work is as hectic for him as it is for us, his home life gets increasingly chaotic with the addition of wife Deborah and their 3 kids. Living nearby are his overbearing parents and jealous brother, who guarantee non-stop family-centric banter. What makes it so great? Behind the surface of its sitcom-like setting, the show shines a keen light on marriage, the struggles of parenthood, and the special brand of chaos that is unique to immigrant families. All the characters are nuanced, their relationships providing a much-needed comic relief. After more than 200 episodes, the show's warmth still draws the most realistic and hilarious depiction of family life. Next up on the list is The Brady Bunch, from 1969 to 1974. The OG of comedy shows about big families, The Brady Bunch is a sitcom that follows a widowed architect named Mike Brady, who lives with his 3 children named Greg, Peter, and Bobby. When he marries Carol, who has 3 daughters, the union creates an instant family living under one roof in a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom house in Los Angeles. The children, all young, find themselves in various situations surrounding school, puberty, dating, and larger-than-life aspirations. Yeah, 6 kids had to share 1 bathroom. Yeah, and he's an architect? What makes it so great? It has been 5 decades since the last season of The Brady Bunch aired on ABC, and the show still endures as a classic because it represented the idealized, lighthearted nuclear family dynamic that was rarely seen on television back then. Its sunny optimism, wholesome humor, relatable themes, and absence of serious issues was the perfect escape from everyday life. And I do remember watching this as a kid growing up, and I can almost remember seeing almost every episode. And finally, there's Modern Family from 2009 to 2020. A beloved mockumentary-style comedy that delves into the life of an unconventional family. Modern Family follows 3 diverse families, 1 interracial, 1 multi-generational, and 1 same-sex headed, all living in their respective homes but staying ever so connected every day. Jay Pritchett is the family patriarch who manages the dynamics with his son Mitchell, daughter Claire, their partners, and children. What makes it so great? Modern Family brought inclusivity and progressive values into the mainstream through its unique and humorous representation of a big family that is non-traditional but equally loving and supportive. Filled with sharp one-liners and goofy characters, the show also tackled controversial topics that aren't seen being addressed on television so often. Over 11 seasons, it has established itself as a pioneer, winning several awards and a ton of love from the audience. So that's the list of the 10 best sitcoms based on large families. What was your favorite on that list? Now, let me just say that for me, there's two of those shows that I've never seen, and that was Arrested Development and Modern Family. But I do have 5 shows on that list that I actually liked. Now, I'm not going to rank them based on my personal preferences, but I'm just going through the list. The first one was Brady Bunch. I remember watching that as a kid, and you can still watch reruns of it on Paramount Plus. So if you ever want to feel nostalgic, go to Paramount Plus if you have it, and you can watch reruns of the Brady Bunch. The next one that I actually liked watching was Family Matters, and it was because I just loved how they had everybody in that house all together going through the challenges that they went through. It was a great show, and I'm sure many of you enjoyed it as well. The next one that I really loved was Full House, and I just loved the conveying message that it portrayed, with a single father raising 3 daughters with his best friend and his brother-in-law helping out. My next favorite one is Malcolm in the Middle. Now, I can't relate to that because I'm the oldest of my siblings. There's 4 of us. So who was it? My brother or my sister? Who's the middle child? Well, I don't know. I really could not relate to that, but still, for them to go through what they're going through, the struggles that they would go through, it was so relatable. And finally, it was the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. It was hilarious. Some of the things that Will and Carlton would go through and the things that they would deal with. It was a good show. And some of it was just, to me, it was just slapstick comedy. So those were the 5 shows that I liked the most. So what about you? Which one of these shows on this list is your favorite? And now let's keep in mind, we're talking about sitcoms. I'm not talking about other shows that had big families that were not comedies. One that's on the top of my head right now is The Waltons. These are comedies, okay? Waltons was not a comedy show, okay? So factor that in. So what is your favorite sitcom out there based on large families? Is there any that you like that are not on this list? Please let me know down in the comments, and thank you for watching.